Writing a reply letter by email. Writing a reply letter by email. Structure of an informal personal letter or an email. There are salutation, introduction, and body. Salutation. Take for example, Dear Mom, Dear Aunt Susan, Dear Chris, and Hi Mary. Introduction. State your reason for writing this letter or email briefly. For example, thank you for your letter. I'm sorry I haven't replied to you sooner. Or, how are you getting on in Canada? I've lots of things about our classmates to tell you. We come to the body. Reply to the questions in the last email. Take for example, you ask me if I have any suggestion about dating with a foreign student. I think that it is not forbidden at all. Another example, you mentioned that you did not have a quiet moment in your house after dinner. In my opinion, you can talk to your sister directly. Concluding paragraph. Summarize the most important points in the last paragraph. Make a request or an invitation. For example, to come to Hong Kong. Another example, what do you think of my plan? I am looking forward to hearing your feedback. Another example, I do hope that my suggestions will be helpful to you and your family. The closing, informal. For example, yours, best wishes, and all the best. The closing, less informal, like regards. Signature, sign the sender's first name. Do not use the full name. 切記唔好以全名簽署，即係話唔能夠寫 Chris Wong， 只能夠寫 Chris。Or use the name given in the instructions of the question. Just read the letters given to you. Look at the salutation and the signature. Follow the names given. Styles of an informal email reply. In writing a personal email or letter, you can use contractions. The examples are, I'm concerned. You're just 16. They'll be given more time. I haven't got any idea about it. Dear Paul, I just read the letter from your brother, Richard. He is worried about you because you are spending too much time on playing computer games and your school results were not as good as his. I'm sorry you are in this situation. I understand that computer games are really exciting and, in fact, I spent a couple of hours playing my favorite games in this weekend. However, I don't think it is a good idea to overdo it. I had a number of friends who have got addicted in last year and in the end, they did poorly in the exams and had to repeat Form 3. Spending all the time on the computer and neglecting their social life and personal hygiene, they have lost their confidence when they are talking with friends. They became very lonely. Soon, they were not used to the way of life in the school. They understand the sacrifice was too much and they decide to quit the habits of playing computer games too frequently. If I were you, I would make a timetable for yourself. Assign a fixed time for homework and spare time to do physical exercise. Yours to limit the time you spend playing computer games. I'm sure that when you quit this habit, your grades will improve. Regards, Jim. Pay attention to the style. It should be informal, using the short forms. The expressions which are used differently in the informal or formal way. The formal expression should be in passive voice and in the second person by using you and use we. The examples are you are suggest to, you are recommended to, you are advised to, other than, you can. The alternative way is to. Instead of you are advised, suggested or recommended to, we suggest or recommend. For the expression in formal way, it should be active voice and in the first person by using I or my. The examples, my suggestion is, it is better to, you'd better, maybe you can, perhaps it's a good idea for you to, instead of you can. I think that you should. How about? What about? Will it be good idea if you? You may consider by adding verb with ing or noun. You may think about or you may try. Pre-writing exercises. Every month, Teen Times publishes letters from teenagers on Polly's problem page. Here are 3 letters that Polly received this week. Read the letters. Dear Polly, I hope you can help me. I'm 13, but my parents still treat me like a baby. They are very overprotective and they worry about me constantly. They won't let me go out with anybody they haven't met, and even when I'm out with somebody they know well, they insist that I phone home every hour. They don't even let me use the chat rooms online because they are afraid of who I might meet. To control my activities, they limit my pocket money. Weekends are incredibly boring because I never have any money to do anything. When my friends ask me to go shopping, I pretend I'm not interested in going with them because I'm embarrassed to tell them the truth. I think they know though because they've started to tease me about it. They say things like, "Won't mommy and daddy let their little girl go out?" My Auntie Sandra says I shouldn't be annoyed with my parents because it only shows they're concerned about me. However, they're destroying my life. What should I do? Jasmine. Another letter. Dear Polly, I'm having some problems with my schoolwork and I don't know what to do. The fact is, I like school, but I can't keep up with my homework. Every day, we get loads of homework, but there's no one to help me with it. Dad is always traveling on his business, so he doesn't have time. Besides, I think he'd be disappointed with me if he knew I was falling behind. In the past, I could ask my friends for help, but now that we're in Form 3, most of them are struggling too. If I didn't have to share a bedroom with my elder brother, things would be a lot better. He often invites his friends over and they're always listening to loud music. He gets angry with me if I ask him to turn the volume down. The sitting room is very noisy too, because there's always someone watching TV. It's very annoying. No one seems to notice that I have nowhere to study. What can I do, Polly? William. The third letter. Dear Polly, I started a new school last September and, after almost a year, I still have no friends. I've tried hard to fit in, but no one likes me. When I try to strike up a conversation with someone or to join a group in the canteen, they just ignore me. At my old school, I was quite popular and I could always find someone to hang around with. Here, the students are different. Maybe they are jealous because I'm prettier than they are and my family is quite wealthy. How can anyone blame me for the way I look or for being able to afford nice things? If I had stayed at my old school, I would have been happier. I've begged my parents to let me back there, but they say I should be grateful for the chance to study at such a good school. I feel completely isolated. What should I do? Margaret. Task 1. Polly keeps a record of the types of problems that teenagers write to her about. Help her to record the problems of these three writers. Take the appropriate. The problem: too much homework. William. Nowhere to study. Also William. Parents too strict. Jasmine. No friends. Margaret. Not enough money. Jasmine. Poor results at school. William. Worried about dating. No one. Dissatisfied with weight. No one. Parents too busy. William. Poor skin. No one. After the 3 letters were published in Teen Times, some readers wrote to Polly and asked her some questions. Read the questions and answer them. Number 1. Do you think Jasmine wants to go shopping with her friends at weekends? Why do you think this? Yes, because she says she pretends that she's not interested in going with them. Number 2. Do you think William's father knows about his problems? Why do you think this? No, because he says if his dad knew he was falling behind, he'd be disappointed. Number 3. If Margaret felt happier at her old school, why doesn't she go back there? She can't go back to her old school because her parents won't let her. Number 4. Do you think Jasmine's parents are overprotective? Why or why not? Jasmine's parents are overprotective because they do not allow her to use the chat room to meet someone online. They want her to call back every hour when she goes out with someone they do not know. Number 5. Imagine you are Jasmine's friend. What could you do to help her? If I were Jasmine's friend, I could meet her parents sometimes so that they get to know me more. Number 6. Do you think that William and his brother get on well? Give a reason to support your answer. William and his brother don't get on well because he is afraid of his brother and his brother ignores his need to study. They obviously don't communicate well with each other. Number 7. Why does Margaret want to go back to her old school? She wants to go back to her old school because she was popular there and had friends, whereas at her new school, she isn't popular and doesn't have friends. Number 8. If you were Margaret, what would you do? I would change school after 1 year, but I would try to get to know more about my classmates first and try to be friendly with them first. If that fails, I would think of asking the teacher to help. Number 9. What has Margaret done to try to fit in her new school? She has tried to strike up conversations and she has tried to join a group in the canteen. Now, choose the letter to answer. The format is an informal email. Ask your tutor to mark it for you. Now, do the exercise to test for yourself. Bye. Exercise. Do the correction in the essay you have written. How do you improve it? Rewrite the letter if it is not satisfactory. Show it to your tutor again. Check your correction again. First, please check the format and presentation. Is the format correct? Is it a letter, yes or no? Is the correct person addressed? Dear Someone, yes or no? Is the correct closing word used? Yours sincerely, yes or no? Is the correct name signed, such as Polly or without family name? Yes or no? Do you write in paragraphs? Yes or no? Can you find the concluding paragraph? The letter should not end suddenly. Yes or no? Now, next, look at the content. Did you give suggestions to the student? Yes or no? And can you find out the suggestions in the writing easily? Yes or no? Lastly, we move on to the grammar. Is the correct tense used? You should use present tense in this letter. Check the verb forms now. For simple present tense, we do not need to write the verb to be. The example, he is talk about the problem with his schoolmate. It is wrong. And for the third person singular, he, she, or it, did your classmate remember the s or es after the verb? Then check the use of infinitives after verbs such as to, can, must, should, etc. Also, check the singular and plural and countable and uncountable nouns. For single nouns, did they write the correct articles a and the? And for plural nouns, did they write the plural s or es? And did your classmate mix up countable nouns and uncountable nouns? Is the use of punctuations such as comma, full stop, question marks, exclamation marks, open quotation marks, close quotation marks, colons correctly? Did you use full stops to separate complete sentences? Lastly, did your classmate use is there or there are correctly? Bear in mind, no more there has or there have.